Hello and welcome to Sega Genesis Classics. In this installment, the game is Road Rash, released in 1991 by EA, long before they were evil. This game is one of the most remarkable games from my childhood that I can remember. This racing game really stood out to me as one of the most memorable games, and I still love it to this day. Let's go with, Redwood Forest, yeah. Always like that one. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, gotta love the 90s look of the graphics. Now, this game might not look that impressive today, but back in the day, seeing such a smooth scrolling racing game was just something that was really impressive, from a home console. Road Rash is also unique in that you're not just racing around, but you can also knock, your fellow racers off their bikes, which is something so cool. And they can knock you off your bike too, so you gotta be careful. I had played racing games before Road Rash, but this is the game that, really stood out to me as a graphical impression, or as a really impressive graphical game. With all these hills that you're constantly going around and the tons of scaling, and this was on the Genesis that wasn't that known for, its sprite scaling. This is the kind of thing that you saw on the Genesis and not the Super Nintendo, so it's pretty impressive. Even more impressive than this, though, is the Sega Master System version, which I'll show eventually in Master System Classics 2. But the Master System version is just crazy impressive because you gotta remember that was an 8-bit machine, so, has basically half of the horsepower that the Genesis does. Whoa! Don't worry, I'm completely fine. Gotta go run back to my bike, get on my bike. The one thing I can say about the game is the music hasn't really aged that well. This is nothing really fantastic. Maybe blame it on the Genesis hardware, but I think it more has to do with a bad sound engineer. Get back on my bike. I love it. Head-on collisions with the car, go flying, get right back up. But just the fact that there's extra traffic in the game at all is pretty crazy. It's realistic and it works to the game's enjoyment because it adds variety and adds realism to the game. You can also bash your opponents. First with a fist, but I got a club right now. But I'm not doing a very good job at bashing anyone. For the Sega Genesis, there were actually 3 of these games, Road Rash 1, 2, and 3, and there was a Road Rash for the Sega CD as well. The series would go on to also be on the PlayStation and systems like that. Eventually, the series kind of dropped off, and there weren't Road Rash games for, the Xbox or anything. So it is a series of the 90s. So the cash that you earn throughout the game is actually used to, upgrade your bike and do things like that. You can buy new parts. Buy better bikes. Right now, I'm just going to hold on to my money, though. I don't remember how do I get out of here? I want to get out of here. Yes, I know I already own it. There we go. It's also pretty impressive how many sprites there can be on screen at once, without there being any slowdown. This game, runs very smooth considering it's running on, the Sega Genesis. I guess it's just that fast processing. Now, it probably had more to do with the speed of the processor being at almost 8 megahertz. It would have been interesting to see a Road Rash ported to the Sega or to Super Nintendo. I would have wondered what that would have been like, because there were racing games that were fairly fast on the SNES. Games like, of course, the ones that come to mind are like, the launch game like Star Fox or like F-Zero. Sorry, why did I say Star Fox? But it makes me wonder if a game like this would have had to required a special processor chip like the Super FX chip on the Super Nintendo to work on the Super Nintendo. The Genesis didn't really have that big of a palette of colors to work with, but using these high contrast colors of like a black road essentially and like the green fields, makes the game look as realistic as would be possible with its 512 colors of possible colors. Sorry, Biff. Back to the future with you. It should also be mentioned that it's really nice that there's the hand mirrors in your left and right mirrors at the bottom of the screen. So at all times you can really actually tell what's going on. Not only see what's in front of you, but also what's behind you to your left and right. And that's the sort of attention to detail that you didn't see from other racing games at the time or for many years after. Alright, well thanks for watching guys, that'll about do it for this video. So if you have any questions about Road Rash for the Sega Genesis, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. And also, I'll be sure to see you guys next time. So if you have Genesis games you want me to cover in the future, feel free to leave those in the comment section down below as well. Also Mega Drive games for you Europeans out there. So thanks for watching, I'll see you guys next time.